My name is Melissa Salas. I'm a student of global business, and in this video, I want to share a personal reflection on what I learned during the ethics of consumption course. Throughout this video, I'll answer some key questions based on the metacognition strategy of Swartz. Questions such as what I've learned, how I learned, and the strategies that I used, and so on, which helped me this metacognition of sorts helped me reflect on how I think, what guides my actions, and how I can make more ethical decisions in my life. This reflection, more than a project, a part of a project, is an opportunity for me to evaluate how my perspective and actions have changed by now that I'm more aware of the climate change crisis. So first, throughout this course, I started to make small but meaningful changes in my everyday life, and this was thanks to the ecological footprint calculator, which helped me to um, be more aware of the habits that I did. So now I became more conscious on my water usage, of reducing the single-use plastics, and I began to prioritize more the second-hand or sustainable products. And I believe that more than actions themselves, this is the biggest change that I had was internal, since I began to question my habits like I never did before. Obviously, about I knew about this topic, like taking care of the light, of the water, turn off the water when you're not using it, etc. But until this point, I was never so invested in changing all these habits, which have really helped me now and also to my house to reduce expenses. In a professional way, I'm a student of global business, and I understand that companies and industries play a huge role in both the problem and the solution of the climate change, especially in global business. I mean, it's globalization. So there's the supply chain, there's a long path in which it involves environment, so you have to be really careful and conscious on all of your actions, and that's like a person that I want to become in a professional way, especially because sustainability is not just a nice thing to have. Most companies believe like, oh yeah, let's do this because it's a trend, and it seems like customers are really interested in sustainability, and also like goes to greenwashing practices, which is not the goal. The sustainability is essential for doing responsible businesses. And in the beginning of the semester, I had the opportunity to start my internship in a really good company. And that's why now I'm being committed to becoming a professional who advocates for ethical practices and like long-term environmental planning. And following this path of being part of companies that truly care about people and the planet and not just about the profits. As a citizen, this course helped me to act and think more about my actions. One of the most meaningful projects that I participated in was obviously the project about the crisis, which in my case was floods in Tijuana due to inefficient city infrastructure. And this problem helped show me how environmental crises are deeply linked to public policy, inequality, and community. And even though the other teams talked about different crises like the floods in Germany, the exploitation of the land in Chiapas, the deforestation, etc., we all came to the same conclusion, that is that climate change affects us all and we have a role to play. Participating in the class has made me more aware of my voice as a citizen and how I can use it to for a change. So whether it's for voting, which is really important, activism, or simply raising my voice, raising awareness in my community, my family and friends, and the people that are around me. Before this course, I didn't question my consumption as much, just as I said before. But after learning about greenwashing specifically, I started asking myself questions such as who made this product, where does it come from, and what will be the impact that it will have on me and in the environment if I purchase it, and even if it becomes a usual purchase. So Personally, I don't buy a lot of things. I don't buy a lot of clothing or shoes or anything now more because I'm taking more care of my money. But in my daily life, I don't buy a lot of things. However, in my house, obviously, there are things that need to be bought. So sharing this knowledge to my family has really helped us all to be more conscious about the purchases. Now we try to support more local businesses, buy less, and more than anything, like the purchases to be more intentionally, like more uh, with a perspective of more responsibility and more. This is really important because it's not just about the money, it's about the values. And every purchase is a statement of what we support, which I think is really important. Um, so this is like mostly what I've learned, like all of the ideas that I got from this course. I learned a lot from this course, and one of the things that I learned the most was obviously the one about my crisis because I had to be the one really focused on it on and researching about the problem. So the learning strategies that we used were really helpful, such as the team projects, the research, the discourse analysis, and the art in a way of awareness for climate change. And of all these things, the most innovative and kind of difficult at the same time, was the messy map, which I've talked about the messy map a lot of times in this course. But I used to work with maps before, but not exactly like this. It was like a mass of a map, a mapping process. It was just about process, and it was really linear. What I liked about the messy map is that its structure is circular. So in the messy map, you make connections between the impacts, the instruments, the problems, and stuff. But even though there are different connections, at the end, everything connects with everything. So that's what I really liked. And for me and my team, it helped a lot. At the first, it was kind of difficult because there was a lot of information that had to be ordered. But once it was ordered, it was a lot more easier for us to understand it. Um, one thing I can definitely improve in this course and in my like daily life, I think, is to taking more time to pause and reflect on the things that I'm learning, not just in the end right now, because sometimes I rush a lot through the assignments and I focus mainly on the deadlines. So I forget to really absorb all of the information and to connect with the ideas that I'm learning in my classes. So I will really need to be more consistent with how I track what I'm learning. This course has really taught me that sustainability is not just an environmental issue, it's personal, social, political, a lot, and ethical. It has given me tools to analyze, question, and act every single thing that I do. And this is what makes me want to be an agent of change, both in my personal life and in my future career, like I said before. I plan to keep learning, keep questioning myself and others, including companies, keep sharing knowledge with others, and I mean like this isn't the end. It feels more like the beginning for a long journey of me to learn more things and to be able to share what I learned with the others. Finally, what I have to say for the citizens all over the world is that our planet is in crisis. Climate change is accelerating really fast. Sea levels are rising, floods are becoming more frequent, um, and forests are disappearing. This is not just about the environment, it's about justice, health, food, security, and most importantly, our future and the future of the others that are going to come in the future. So we have a moral duty to act. Our ethical principles, responsibility, solidarity, respect for life, and respect for nature demand that we stop ignoring the consequences of our own actions. And I feel like I felt this really deeply while working on the crisis of the floods in Tijuana, which made me realize how real and immediate the crisis is. It's not a faraway problem. It's happening now, and we still don't know what is going to happen in the future if we don't make a change now. So we all have a role to play in everywhere in the world, as consumers, as professionals, as citizens, as individuals. So I tell you to commit to the Sustainable Development Goals, specifically for responsible consumption and production, sustainable cities and communities, and climate action for you to raise yourselves and commit to this change. Change begins with awareness, but it doesn't stop there. It continues with action. So please act, not tomorrow, but today. Thank you.